Here, hat. Here, hat. Oh, there you are. Alright. This is gonna be cool.
What the hell are you doing?
What?
You look ridiculous.
Okay, look. This is for the review. I just decided I'd be a little bit more fantasy-ish, except I don't have a full costume, full outfit. So, I have to make do with what I have.
You look really, really ridiculous.
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? You're dressing up for an internet review. That swore up the alley of that inspector moron you like so damn much.
Bix, don't be a jerk. The inspector guy's doing his own videos. Just leave it be. Go work on that server you were talking about. I have a review to do. Great. Let's get this off. Hi, this is Chris from... Oh, earphones. Hi, this is Chris from Cheapskate Gamer, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm here to review a game, and a good one at that. And Bix is just being a jerk. So, without me wasting any more time, let's get into the game, Battle for Wesnoth. One of the things I have to say about this game is, being an open source game, this game has an excellent soundtrack right out of the gate. The entrance music that you're hearing right now is probably one of the better ones that I've heard out of any game, let alone any open source game. It gives you the right feel. This is a war zone, but it's also fantastic because it has that very ethereal kind of sound to it. So you have a military, you have the ethereal, and it's really nice combination. Once we get to the gameplay itself, you'll see that this is a turn-based strategy, a type of game system that I normally don't like. But there are two games that I have liked before that are like this. First is Star Trek Birth of the Federation, and the second is Final Fantasy Tactics. They're both turn-based, they're both strategy games. Where they differ in some places. Final Fantasy Tactics is more of an RPG, and Star Trek Birth of the Federation is awesome because it's Star Trek. I am a fan. I'm a nerd. Does this really surprise you at all? Once you get into the gameplay itself, it's a very simple top-down look, but that's actually very good. First of all, you can see a lot of stuff. Everything here is on the hexagrams, which is a little different than what you would expect. You would think more of a grid would be expected, but you know what? It works. Now, when you're in the game itself, you have several different factions you can choose from. You have knights, you have rebels, which are more of the thieving kind. So if you like backstabbing, it would be them. You have elves, you have dragons, you have dwarves, you have the undead, you have orcs. You have several choices, and they all play differently, which is something I really like. When you're playing a game like this and you have several different factions, you want them to feel different. With the elves, you better put them in a forest. That is where they're going to be best. In the case of the knights, you need an open plain. They charge. They do more damage when they have more space to move. Dwarves, put them in the mountains. Dragons, they can fly. These are all great things that work really well together. Something that the last game that I reviewed did not do. The last game didn't change between the races. This one did, and I love it for it. And that's something that's really different, that's really key with fantasy games. See, I grew up with Lord of the Rings, I grew up with H.P. Lovecraft, where the races actually made a difference. What weapons they used, if they were magical or not, that's what they did. And, you know, it can be a bit of the classical fantasy, but I do like that. Like I mentioned last game, I play D&D, I play several tabletop RPGs, and I like it when the race that you play actually has an impact on the game that you're playing. And this one not only fits that, it fits that very well. Which means it has it, but it's not the horribly stereotypical, oh, I'm a dwarf, so I'm going to be in the mountains, and I don't like magic, and, you know, that's kind of stupid. It's supposed to be more nuanced. And it's something that I'm glad, because in this case, you have a lot of things in one category that you would normally think would not fit together, but it does, and it does it well. One thing that I especially like that this takes from RPG elements is these characters can be leveled up to a full 3rd level. They have increased HP, they have more attacks, and if your character is a magic user, their magic gets better. So if they use lightning, instead of just being a little lightning bolt, it becomes Shazam! If you're using a magical blast, instead of being like, oh, a little punch, it becomes something more like and that's something that I actually really like. This is a nice progression going up, and that's something that I really like keeping, that I like seeing in here. It's something that I really like, because not only does it allow you, and one of the better things, especially when you're in campaign, is if you have soldiers that you've used, you can actually keep going, bringing them back and leveling them up, making them stronger, making your troops stronger all the way through. That is something that I really like. And it's something that you don't see a whole lot of in strategy games. Usually you just have the cookie cutter unit, which is all well and good in those ones, but in this game, with the RPG elements, it just really makes it all work together, and I love it. Strategy doesn't tend to be my thing, but this game really hits all those right notes for me to like it. There are things that some strategy games do that I don't really like, but this one, you get your resources through the various little villages that you capture, and that's it. You only get the gold. You don't have to go and chop down trees. You don't have to mine. You don't have to do any of that. It's just the villages. This makes it nice and streamlined. And even then, the gameplay is great. The campaigns, which they're all fan-based, they're all fan-made, they are excellent. This game is a great game, great open source, or just a great game, period. So this game gets a full recommendation from me. And in the end, when it comes to fantasy, sometimes it's just easier to go a little more ridiculous. And in this case, that ridiculousness helps. This is Chris from the Cheapskate Gamer signing off.